हाँ भाई, सब राजी खुशी भाई, क्या हाल चाल है तुम्हारे? सब बढ़िया है। तो भाई हम अब पीएस पे बुक नहीं पढ़ेंगे। अभी हम एक नई सीरीज स्टार्ट करते हैं जिसमें हम बुक इस तरीके से पढ़ेंगे, क्योंकि ये टैबलेट है, मैं टैबलेट का यूज़ कर रहा हूँ। और लाइटनिंग यार सामने की तरफ कुछ लगाना पड़ेगा ताकि मेरा चेहरा क्लियर आए, बट इट्स नॉट अबाउट माई फेस, इट्स अबाउट रीडिंग अ गुड बुक। सो अभी तक हमने काफ़ी बुक पढ़ी। रुको थोड़ा ऐसे बैठ जाता हूँ। सबर सबर गाइस, सबर। सो अभी तक हमने काफ़ी बुक पढ़ी। कहाँ गई लाइट? हाँ, हमने काफ़ी तरीके की बुक पढ़ी है अभी, लाइक रिच डैड पुअर डैड, रिचेस्ट पर्सन ऑफ बेबीलोन, और हमने और भी 5-6 किताब पढ़ चुके हैं अब तक हम। तो अब सबसे पहले मैंने कैसे पढ़ रहा था, सबसे पहले मैं कर रहा था कि खाना बनाते वक्त टैबलेट में बुक, ऑडियो बुक चल रही है, मैं सुन रहा था यूट्यूब पे। देन मैंने सब्सक्रिप्शन लिया। मैं पीएस पे गेम खेल रहा था, और गेम खेलने से पहले मैं एक चैप्टर पढ़ने की कोशिश करता था। हमने उस तरीके से पढ़ा। लेकिन मे बी यू डोंट लाइक माई वॉइस, है ना, हो सकता है कि मेरे, लेकिन अब मैं इस टैबलेट में स्क्रीन रिकॉर्ड करके, मेरे हाथ कितने लाल हो रहे हैं, पर इतने लाल है नहीं जितने इसमें दिख रहे हैं, मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ द लाइट। सो अब हम क्या करने वाले हैं, अब हम ज़्यादा बकवास नहीं करेंगे, अब हम पढ़ेंगे बुक इस तरीके से ताकि तुम भी पढ़ सको, और तुम्हें मेरी आवाज़ पसंद आ रही है तो तुम मुझे म्यूट कर दो और बुक पढ़ सको खुद से। सी, दैट्स द डिफरेंस। सो वी आर डूइंग मल्टीपल थिंग्स इन लाइफ। हम अपनी लाइफ को ऐसे का ऐसा लोगों को दिखा रहे हैं, ऐसे का ऐसा लोगों को दिखा रहे हैं। आई डोंट नो व्हाट दैट्स सपोज टू मीन, बट व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज, कंटेंट सिर्फ एक जॉनरा में नहीं बन सकता। वी आर लिविंग अ लाइफ, लाइफ के डिफरेंट एक्सपेक्ट होते हैं। ऐसा नहीं कि तुम सिर्फ अगर जिम के कंटेंट ही डालते रहोगे, और तुम क्योंकि बिकॉज यू आर अ जिम कंटेंट क्रिएटर, फिटनेस क्रिएटर, तो व्हाट अबाउट ऑल दी अदर एक्सपेक्ट ऑफ लाइफ? हाँ, वो कैसे शो करोगे? तो यहाँ पे आपको देखने को मिलेगा सब कुछ, हाउ टू बी, हाउ यू सपोज टू लिव अ हेल्दी लाइफ में भी। आई डोंट नो, अभी हम सीख ही रहे हैं हमें क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना। सो हमारे यूट्यूब पे आपको बुक्स, रीडिंग बुक्स की किताबें मिलेंगी, लाइक वीडियोस मिलेंगी, जिम की वीडियोस मिलेगी, ट्रैकिंग की वीडियो मिलेगी, एडवेंचर की, गेमिंग की वीडियो मिलेगी। तो दैट्स अबाउट डेली लाइफ व्लॉग काइंड ऑफ थिंग। तो बट मैं व्लॉग्स तो नहीं बना रहा हूँ, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू दी इंफॉर्मेटिव पार्ट कि क्या क्या किया जा सकता है। So let's not waste much of the time. Now let's begin the book. अभी हम जो बुक पढ़ रहे हैं वो और बुक से अलग है। मैंने अभी तक फाइनेंशियल एजुकेशन की बुक्स पढ़ी हैं, तो वो अब हम नहीं पढ़ रहे। अभी हम एक कल्ट लाइक आउट ऑफ द वे जाके कुछ बुक पढ़ते हैं। तो अब जो मैंने बुक पिक करी है, लेट्स सी, तो मैंने एवरेंड का सब्सक्रिप्शन दोबारा से रिज्यूम कर लिया, क्योंकि 1 महीना मैं घूम रहा था, फिर रहा था, 10 दिन था नहीं, तो सब्सक्रिप्शन के पैसे देने का कोई मतलब था नहीं। बट नाउ वी कैन बिगिन विद आवर बुक सीरीज, एंड दांत चमक रहे मेरे। एंड द न्यू बुक दैट वी आर अबाउट टू स्टार्ट इज दिस। मैं कैमरे को यहाँ ले आता हूँ। ओए, हाँ, तो बुक का नाम है द थर्ड आई Alchemy. It is master Vedic secret and tantric practices to awaken psychic side in 7 days. Even if you are beginner, by Sukanta Bhattacharya. ठीक है, सी थ्रू द डार्कनेस, थर्ड आई एक्टिवेशन। सो एल्केमी हमें पता है, लाइक कुछ सॉर्ट ऑफ कुछ भी होता है, मुझे नहीं पता। हम क्या करेंगे, हम पढ़ेंगे बुक। तो लेट्स बिगिन, देखते हैं कि कंटेंट कहाँ आता है। हमें यहाँ से स्टार्ट करना है। तो मैं कहाँ रखूँ अपने आप को, यहाँ रखूँ मैं, इसको छोटा कर दूँ। लेट्स सी, अगर मैं यहाँ जाऊँ, फिर मैं यहाँ जाऊँ, तो मैं इसको यहाँ रख सकता हूँ। हाँ, क्योंकि यहाँ से कुछ जा नहीं रहा। ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट चैप्टर है द अजना। मुझे एग्जैक्ट वो पता नहीं है, तो हल्ला मत मचाना। फर्स्ट चैप्टर है द अजना चक्र, गेटवे टू इनर विजन। ओम नमो भगवते रुद्राय। I welcome you, seeker of truth, to the hidden gateway between the worlds, the sacred space between your brows, ब्रोज मतलब जो भी है, where silence speaks and darkness reveals the radiant light. This is the Agna Chakra, the command center of your soul's divine vision. Introduction: the divine threshold. In the ancient mystical map of the human body known as the chakra system, the Ajna chakra holds a throne of profound power, located between the eyebrows. It is often referred to as the third eye. But understand this: this is not merely a symbolic concept, it is a living, breathing, vibrating vortex of energy, deeply encoded into your spiritual DNA. The seer of the Vedas, the sage of the Upanishad, and the master of Tantras did not speak in metaphor when they describe the eye that sees what. Wait, अच्छा ये यहीं से चल रहा है. Sorry. The eyes that sees what from the moment you were born. नहीं यार. इसके बाद का क्या है? नेक्स्ट पेज करने का ऑप्शन आ रहा है कहीं? अब आया भाई. पहले कहाँ था ये? लोड ही नहीं हो रहा था. सॉरी गाइस. The seer of Vedas, the sage of the Upanishad, and the master of Tantra did not speak in metaphor when they describe the eye that sees what physical eyes cannot. They spoke of real experience, unfoldment of perception, understanding the transcendent mundane awareness. The Ajna chakra is not merely an energy center, it is a cosmic command hub. Ajna literally means command or authority in Sanskrit. It is where intuition blossoms, where divine insight dawns, and where you stop seeing the world as it appears and begin seeing it as it truly is. The seed of awareness. From the moment you were born, your Ajna chakra has pulsed silently, whispering to you in dreams, vision, intuitive nudges. It is the gate through which inner knowledge flows, the doorway to jnana, sacred wisdom. The Vedas hint at this chakra in many ways. Rig Veda says, two birds united always and known by the same name dwell on the same tree. One eats the sweet fruit, the other looks on without eating. This the tree is a human body. One bird is the ego bound self. The other is the witness, the seer, your inner eye, the ajna awareness. The Upanishad expand this vision, speaking of the Purusha, divine consciousness, who sees through the sense but is beyond them. Ajna is not something to be gained, it is to be awakened. It is already there, veiled like a moon behind clouds. The practice you will learn in this book are not for construction, but revelation. Anatomy, anatomy, anatomy of subtle body. To understand the Ajna Chakra fully, you must learn the landscape of your inner world. The subtle body or Sukshma Sharira, this body through invisible to the physical eye, is as real as your hand and feet. It comprises channel, nadis, center, chakras, reservoir of your spiritual potential. There are 72,000 nadis flowing through your subtle body, and there are and the three most important Ida, Pingala, Sushmana converge at the Ajna Chakra. Imagine these as sacred river meeting at the confluence of divine perception. When your breath flows in, when your breath flows in balance between the left and the right nostril, the energy begins to spiral into this center, activating dormant consciousness. Shushmana, the central channel, flows through the spine and is the primary path of Kundalini, the coiled serpent of divine energy. When this energy awakens and rises to the ajna, a profound transformation occurs. The veil between the world is lifted. Tantric perspective, the inner Shiva. Tantra does not theorize, it demands experience. The Tantric scriptures, especially the Shiva Samhita and Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, speak directly about Ajna Chakra as the key focal point in meditation. Shiva, the Lord of Tantra, is often portrayed with his third eye open, emitting divine fire. This eye is not merely symbolic, it represents a functional consciousness, a flame that burns illusion, ignorance, and attachment. When the third eye opens through tantric sadhana, you begin to perceive energy, subtle forces, karmic pattern, and even the divine presence in all being. One of the 102 dharanas, concentration technique in Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, is concentrate on the center between the eyebrows. Let the mind dissolve into that point and experience the door to the divine. This, dear one, is direct instruction to activate the Ajna Chakra. No philosophy needed, only practice, only experience. Ajna Chakra and psychic abilities. When the third eye awakens, many siddhis may spontaneously arise. You may begin to see colors around people, perceive events before they happen, or receive insight that feel like they descend from the cosmos. But remember, these are byproduct, not the goal. True activation leads to discernment, vivek, peace beyond logic, and unwavering presence of the soul. The Upanishad warns the seeker not to be distracted by powers, for they are shadow of the true self. You must remain anchored in devotion, discipline, and awareness. Practice to awaken the Ajna Chakra. Here I offer you practice, not a dogma, but as a key. Use them with sincerity, and the inner eye shall open. Tarataka, Tarataka. Fixed gaze meditation. Gaze at a flame or black dot, unblinking, until tear come. Then close your eyes, see the inner flame. This purifies vision and ignite inner light. Bhrumadya Drishti. Sit in stillness, close your eyes, and gently direct your gaze to the space between the brows. Allow thoughts to dissolve into that point. Ajna Beej Mantra Om. Chanting Om while focusing on the third eye vibrates the chakra. It is the sound of creation and dissolution, the alpha and the omega of tantric practice. Pranayama, Nadi Shodhana. Alternate nostril breathing, balance Ida and Pingala, directing pran into Sushmana. When practiced with intent, it charges the ajna like spiritual battery. Ajna and sacred geometry. In Tantra, form reflect consciousness. The symbol of Ajna chakra is two plated two-plated lotus, often seen with an inverted triangle or the Om symbol within it. These are not artistic flourishes, they are map of consciousness. The two petals symbolize duality, sun and moon, left and right, masculine and feminine. When the third eye opens, this duality collapses into unity. You are no longer perceived through the filter of opposite. You see the oneness of all things. यहाँ कुछ था तो नहीं. Meditating on the Ajna Yantra is geometric representation aligns your mind to the cosmic balance. It is not mental gymnastic, it is spiritual energy. Engineering. Signs of activation. When the Ajna chakra stirs from its slumber, you may notice increased intuition and inner knowing, vivid dream and vision, moment of timelessness, heightened perception of light and color. अब आए, पहले नहीं आ रहा था. The sense of guiding presence within. These signs should be met with humility. The ego may try to claim them as my powers, but the wise seeker ये होता है जब बुक पढ़ते हैं क्या. These signs should be met with humility. The ego may try to claim them as my powers, but the wise seeker bows and says, "It is thou, not I." The inner eye as guru. The Ajna chakra become your inner guru. When fully awakened, it guides you in all choices, not with loud words, but a quiet certainty. You may no longer need outer confirmation, for the truth will arise from within. But never forget, the true Guru is the one who dwells in all beings. The Ajna simply allows you to hear that one clearly. The vision beyond darkness. Dear one, the third eye is not just an eye of vision, it is the eye of liberation. When it opens, darkness becomes a bridge, not a barrier. Silence becomes a language, not an absence. And the world with all its confusion becomes a divine play, Leela. The Ajna chakra is the lamp in the cave of your being. Let it burn with the oil of practice, the wick of devotion, and the fire of inner will. In the chapter to come, I shall guide you deeper into the mastery through the pineal gland secrets, Shiva's cosmic eye, and the role of this sacred center in human evolution. But for now, sit, close your eyes, breathe, and see through the darkness. The pineal gland and its mystical significance. Om Tat Sat. Beloved seeker, as we journey deeper into the sacred realm of inner vision, we now turn our focus to a mysterious and potent organ nestled within the sanctuary of your brain, the pineal gland. Reversed across spiritual traditions and increased acknowledged by modern science, this tiny gland serves as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, the known and the unknown. The pineal gland, a sacred portal. The pineal gland, named for its pine cone shape, resides near the center of the brain. Between the two hemispheres, it grooves where the two halves of the thalamus join. Despite its small size, it has been considered a significant spiritual organ, often referred to as the seat of the soul and the third eye. Ancient Indian traditions. While the pineal gland is not explicitly mentioned in the Vedas or Upanishad, the concept of the third eye or Ajna Chakra align closely with its attributed functions. The Ajna Chakra, located between the eyebrow, is associated with the intuition, insight, and spiritual awakening. Qualities also linked to the pineal gland. Mystical association across culture. The pineal gland's spiritual significance is not confined to Indian tradition. In ancient Greek philosophy, the pineal gland was considered the seat of the soul. René Descartes, a 17th century French philosopher, also referred to it as the principal seat of the soul and place where all thoughts are formed. In Eastern philosophies, the pineal gland is associated with the third eye, a concept prevalent in Hinduism and Buddhism. The inner eye is believed to provide perception beyond ordinary sight, offering insight into higher plane of existence and consciousness. Scientific perspective and spiritual parallels. Modern science acknowledges the pineal gland role in regulating circadian rhythm through the secretion of melatonin, a hormone that influences sleep wake cycle. Interestingly, the pineal gland contains photoreceptor cells similar to those found in the eyes, suggesting its sensitivity to light. This characteristic aligned with its association as a third eye capable of perceiving light and metaphorically spiritual illumination. Some researchers have proposed that the pineal gland may produce DMT, dimethyl tripeptamine, जो भी बोलो, a compound known for its powerful psychedelic properties which could play a role in dreaming and near-death experience. नहीं करना भाई, केमिकल वाले नशे नहीं करने. पैर हो गया यार मेरा. The pineal gland in spiritual practice. पैर जगाऊं. In yogic and tantric practice, the activation of the pineal gland is often pursued to achieve higher status of consciousness. Techniques such as meditation, chanting, specific yogic posture aim to stimulate this gland, facilitating spiritual awakening and the inner vision. One such practice is Sambhavi Mudra, where the gaze is directed toward the space between the eyebrows, focusing attention on the Ajna Chakra. This technique is believed to activate the pineal gland, enhancing inner awareness and spiritual insight. Embracing the inner light. Dear seeker, the pineal gland serves as a profound symbol and instrument of spiritual awakening. By understanding its significance and nurturing its function, through dedicated practice, you open the doorway to deeper insight, intuition, and connection with the divine. As you continue on this sacred journey, may the light within guide you through the darkness, illuminating the path to your highest self. Shiva's eye, symbolism in Vedic and Tantric tradition. Om Namah Shivaya. Beloved, initiate now we enter the sacred fire of symbolism, the third eye of Shiva, the destroyer of illusion, the master of time, and the eternal witness. This third eye, resting in the center of his forehead, is not merely an ornament of myth, it is the eternal beacon of spiritual awakening, ever watching, ever knowing. The mythic flame opening the eye of destruction and revelation. In this illuminous page of the Shiva Purana, and echoed in the countless tantric scriptures, we find the tale of Shiva's third eye, a mysterious vertical eye burning with an intensity that no ordinary being can withstand. It is said that when Shiva opened this eye, the world as we know it trembles and the illusions are shattered. One of the most famous legends speak of Kamdeva, a god of desire, who attempted to arouse love in Shiva's heart to awaken him from his deep meditation. Shiva, disturbed by this interference, opened his third eye in fury, and the Kamdev was instantly reduced to ashes. But what does this tale signify? It not merely about destruction, it is about annihilation of Maya, illusion. Kamdeva represent desire, distraction, and bondage to the senses. Shiva's eye burns it away, leaving only the pure flame of undivided awareness. This, dear seeker, is not a fable, it is a map. It is your story, for you too must open the inner eye and incinerate the illusion that binds you. Vedic origin and symbolic significance. While the explicit image of Shiva's third eye arises more vividly in the Puranas, its root lie deep in the Vedic soil. The Rig Veda, in its hymn, often speak of divine vision, drishti, as the foundation of wisdom. In one verse, Rig Veda, we read about the Munis, the silent sages who see with the inner sight. The long-haired one, sustained by wind, lives on the bank of the sacred river. He observes eternal order with the eye of truth. That eye of truth is none other than the third eye, a symbol of perception that is not dependent on external light but on inner clarity. In the Atharva Veda, the concept of Trinetra, third eye, also finds subtle mention, referring to higher awareness and the transcendence of duality. The third eye of Shiva is thus a Vedic symbol of superconsciousness. It transcends the two eye of dual perception, left and right, good and evil, light and dark, and see with unity, with Advait, non-duality. Tantric interpretation flame flame of conscious power. In Tantra, the third eye of Shiva is not a symbol, is not just a symbol. It is a central locus of Shakti, the divine feminine energy of consciousness. It is said in the Kularnava Tantra, he who sees through the eye of fire sees truth. The Guru's instructions light this fire within the disciplined brows. This eye is not for physical seeing. It is the blazing insight that arises when all mental chatter ceases. It is where Shiva and Shakti unite as Chit and Ananda, Chittananda. In this union, vision is no longer fragmented, it becomes whole. Tantric ritual often invoke this eye. In Sambhavi Mudra, the practitioner directs his awareness to the eyebrow, center while letting the breath dissolve. Over time, this awakened the dormant flame, the divine chakshu within. The tantric adapt through mantras, mudras, and dharanas. Learn not only to activate this power but to stabilize it. Without stability, without stability, the energy can be overwhelming. This is why the tantric path require the guidance of the realized guru and the discipline of the inner fire. Shiva's eye and yogic siddhis. In the yogic path, especially in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the development of inner vision led to the siddhis, spiritual abilities. When the Ajna Chakra is fully awakened, the practitioner gained pratibha and instantaneous knowledge. Patanjali writes, by samyama on the center of forehead comes the knowledge of higher being. This echoes the idea of Shiva's eye, not as a gift, but as a capacity lying dormant in every seeker. The inner Shiva is within you. His third eye is not a myth, it is your awakened Ajna Chakra. It is the gaze that sees past the mask, the dream, the role you play. It sees you, the infinite being behind all appearances. The sacred geometry and Trinetra. From the tantric perspective, every symbol holds energy. The vertical eye of the Shiva shows often encased in a triangle represent fire, Agni. In sacred geometry, the triangle pointing upward is the symbol of divine ascent, of Kundalini rising. Meditating on this image stabilizes the Ajna energy. The Trinetra is also associated with the number 3, Shiva's third eye, the 3 gunas, the 3 states of consciousness. When you enter the third eye, you awaken your Turiya, the 4th state, the state beyond. Tantra and the ritual for Shiva eye activation. To invoke the presence of Shiva eye within you, a powerful mantra is Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vardhanam Urva Rukmiva Bandhana Mrityor Mukshi Mamrita. Mrityunjay Mahamantra. This is Mahamrityunjay Mantra, the chant of the three-eyed one. It is not just for warning of death, it is for conquering the illusion of death. Rituals associated with Shiva's third eye often involve offering the fire, incense, and water, symbol of purification. But the highest offering is the silence, the inward gaze, and the steady presence of being. You may also meditate with Shiva Yantra or the image of Trinetra Shiva, visualizing the eye at your brow glowing with a golden blue fire, consuming all that is false, revealing all that is eternal. भाई मैंने अंग्रेजी में पढ़ा ना ये महामृत्युंजय मंत्र, तो तुम्हें अजीब सा लगा होगा. आंख बंद करके बोलो ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे पुष्टिवर्धनम. नहीं, ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वा उर्वा रुक्मवा बंदना मृत्योर्मुक्षीम अमामृता. वही ना, प्रोनाउंसिएशन गलत है. लाइक हमने तो ऐसे बोला था ना, हमने कहीं से पढ़ के नहीं बोला था, हमने बस सुन सुन के बोला था. ओम त्र्यंबकम ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वामुक्का, क्या ये उर्वा रुक्मिवा बंधना मृत्योर्मुक्षी मामृता. ठीक है. प्रैक्टिस करेंगे इसकी भी। आगे चलते हैं। Daily life and the gaze of Shiva. How do we walk in the world with Shiva's eyes open? By seeing beyond appearance. When you look at another human, do not see their name, gender, status. Look through the third eye and see the self in them. That is Shiva seeing through you. When you listen, listen not just to the world, but to the silence between them. That is Shiva's ear. When you act, act not for gain, but for the joy of pure expression. That is Shiva dance. The third, the open third eye is not for vision alone, it's for awakened living. अब यहाँ पे कुछ होना है ये सेकंड वाले पेज पे ना. Becoming the eye. O child of awareness, do not seek Shiva's eye in the sky or in the statues. It is already within your brow, pulsing with potential, waiting to be unveiled. You are not separate from Shiva, you are his eye. And when your inner gaze becomes steady, when your thoughts dissolve into stillness, when you no longer identify with the passing but with the eternal, then the third eye open, not with fire but with the gentle light of dawn. This is the light that sees through the darkness. That is the eye that sees what is real. The role of the third eye in human evolution. Om Shanti. Seeker of the subtle flame, let us now turn inward toward a timeless truth, the evolution of the human soul. Through the awakening of divine vision, the third eye is not merely a mystical center of gland, but the key to the next great leap in human association. As the seed unfold into the tree, so too does the soul unfold into its full radiance through the Ajna Chakra. The third eye, from instinct to intuition. At the dawn of humanity, man walked the earth guided by instinct. The root, sacral, and solar plexus chakra governed his action, survival, and reproduction, dominance. In time, the herd awakened, the man learned empathy. Still later, reason and intellect began to shape civilization. But now we stand at the threshold of the next awakening, intuitive intelligence born of the third eye. The third eye marks the shift from the reason to revelation, from intellect to insight, from outer accumulation to inner knowing. The Upanishad whisper of this transformation. There, there the eye goes not, nor speech, not mind. We not know, we understand not how one would teach it. It is different from the known and beyond the unknown. Kena Upanishad. This is not the evolution of the body, but the flowering of prana, the divine wisdom. The third eye and the four state of consciousness. In Mandukya Upanishad, four state of consciousness are described. Jagrat, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turya. Most being oscillate between the first three states, unaware of Turya, the background of all experience, the pure conscious. It is through the awakening of the third eye that this fourth state become accessible. Turiya is not a state to be entered into. It is what you already are. The third eye simply remove the veil that hides it. As you evolve, you live more from this dimension, witnessing waking, dreaming, and sleep as movement within you, not as your identity. Kundalini and the ascent to Ajna. In the tantric map of evolution, the human soul is seen as divine serpent, Kundalini, coiled at the base of the spine through conscious practice, meditation, mantra, breathe. This energy awakens, ascend the central channel, Sushmana Nadi, piercing through each chakra. Ajna is the sixth chakra, the gateway to union. When Kundalini pierces this center, the practitioner transcends duality. Vision becomes inward. The seeker becomes the seer. The Ajna chakra is the command center. Once awakened, the individual no longer acts from ego, but from the Ishvara pranidhana, surrender to the divine will. Life flows from insight, not impulse. Sacred evolution in ancient texts. Say sacred here. The Swateshvatra Upanishad hints at a vision beyond the senses. When the five senses and the mind are still, and the intellect does not stir, that is known as the highest state. This steadiness of the senses is called yoga. Here is evolution, not of species but of soul. Evolution through silence, stillness, and the inward gaze of the third eye. In the Vijnana Bhairav Tantra, Shiva speaks, fix your gaze at the center of the eyebrow, let the mind be free of thoughts. In that state, inner light reveals itself. The inner light is luminous intelligence toward which evolution moves. From Homo sapiens to Homo luminous. Spiritual evolution leads to a new kind of human, no longer Homo sapien, but Homo luminous. This being does not dwell in separation, does not fear death, does not seek power. They see with the eye of truth. The activation of the third eye accelerates this transformation. The nervous system refines, the breath slows, the heart radiates compassion. Intuition replaces analysis. Such a being become vessel of the Satya Yuga, the age of truth. They do not accept the world, they see through it. Living with an awakened eye, signs and shift. How does one know the third eye is awakening? Dream become lucid and symbolic. Synchronicities increases. One feels energy and subtle presence in other. A silent witness emerges within, unshaken by the emotion. There is a natural withdrawal from conflict and noise. Compassion, insight, and clarity begin to rule decision. But most importantly, there is a deep knowing. I am not this body, not this name. I am consciousness itself. This knowing is not intellectual. It is Tattva Darshan, the seeing of the truth. Daily practice for evolution through the third eye. To evolve spiritually, one must engage in regular tapas, disciplined practice. Here is a sample daily ritual. Morning, sit facing east. Chant the Bij mantra Om 108 times while gazing at the eyebrow center. Midday awareness, practice trakata, steady gaze on a yantra or flame. Evening sandhya, reflect silently, ask who is the seer of this thought. Night before sleep, visualize a violet or indigo light pulsing between the brows. Merge into it. This practice align with your consciousness, with the rhythm of divine evolution. The return to the inner sight. O radiant being, the third eye is not a mutation, it is a return. You are not becoming something new, you are remembering who you always were, a seer, a soul, a silent watcher of the world. Evolution is not climbing higher, it is going deeper. It is shedding all false identities and standing naked before the infinite. It is letting go of sight so that vision may emerge. And what does this vision reveals? Nothing but the self, one without a second, Shiva shining through your eyes. Awaken it, living from it, and see not just with your eyes, but with your soul. Chapter 2, Sacred Foundation and Vedic Tantric Roots. थोड़ा सा पढ़ते हैं. Third eye in the Vedas and Upanishad. Om Tat Sat, the darkest seeker of the Om Tat Sat, dearest seeker of truth. Let us now walk through the sacred corridor of ancient Vedas and Upanishad, the first whisper of divine revelation in the human soul. In these scriptures lie the eternal root of word modern mystic called the third eye. Though in the language of rishis it is known by subtler names, the eyes of witness, the eye of wisdom, divya chakshu, the inner vision, antardrishti, the flame of consciousness, chidagni. This chapter is not a lesson, it is a rekindling of memories. You are not learning something new, beloved. You are remembering what your soul has always known. The divine eye in the Vedas, seeing with a seer's grace. In the Rig Veda, the oldest of the four Vedas, the most profound book of mantras, the notion of vision is not limited to the physical sight. The rishis speak of a vision that perceives truth beyond form. They call it drishti, the eye that beholds the eternal. We meditate on the supreme light of the divine sun. May it awaken our inner vision. Rigveda Gayatri Mantra. Here, inner vision refers to that sacred flame which illuminates the path of liberation, not by reason, not by logic, but by direct perception of the real. This perception is the function of the awakened third eye. The Vedic seer did not consider the physical eye to be the primary mean of knowing. Rather, it was through inner concentration, tapas, and divine receptivity that they saw truth. This capacity was often expressed in the idea of Divyachakshu, the divine eye. In Rig Veda, the sun is not merely a celestial body but the symbol of inner awakening. O sun, you are the eye of the gods. You see everything. Awaken our sight. This eye of the god become a metaphor not for illumination but for self-awareness, the birth of consciousness in matter. The Upanishad doorway to the inner flame. Where the Vedas are hymns, the Upanishads are whisper. They are not proclamation, there are not proclamation but transmission from guru to disciple, from silence to insight. One of the most famous to the inner eye is found in Katha Upanishad. Know the self as the rider in the chariot, the body as the chariot, the intellect as the charioteer, and the mind as the reins. The wise who control the mind through discrimination reach that supreme abode from which there is no return. Katha Upanishad. The journey back to the self begins when the seeker redirects his gaze not outward in the world of form but inward through the Ajna Chakra, the command center of the subtle body. In other verses from the same Upanishad, this self cannot be known through study, nor through intellect, nor through much learning. It is known only by whom it chooses. Unto the one the self reveals its own form. This is not poetry. This instruction it reveals the very essence of the third eye, awakening. It is not you who opens the eye, it is the self who opens itself to the seer within. The Ajna Chakra, the subtle center of command. Through the chakras are more explicitly described in later tantric texts. Their seeds are present in the Upanishadic conception of human being as a layered field of consciousness. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, the human is said to be made of five sthis or koshas: physical, pranic, mental, wisdom, and bliss. The third eye resides in the Vyajna Moksha Kosha, the set of the intuitive wisdom. This is where intellect transcends logic and merge into insight. The Upanishads do not speak of Ajna Chakra by name, but they refer to its function repeatedly. There, where all thought ceases, lies the supreme abode of God, of truth. Mandukya Upanishad. That there is not a place but a center between the brows where the two nadis, Ida and Pingala, merge into the Sushmana. It is the point of stillness, the Bindu, where perception collapses into presence. The Chandogya Upanishad offers a beautiful metaphor. As a man, when asleep, awakes, so does the self arise from ignorance when the knowledge dawns. What awakens is not the body, but the eye of the self, Atman. That awakening is the true function of the Ajna Chakra. Third eye in Vedic symbolism. In the symbolism language of Vedas, fire, Surya, and dawn are not just elements of times of a day. They are metaphors of illuminate perception. The Agni, the fire, is the priest of vision. It represents the inner flame burning in the brow. Surya, the sun, is the eye of the world, the third eye of the macrosmos. Usha, the dawn, is the moment when darkness is dispelled, not by effort by the light, but by light. When these symbols are meditated upon, sorry, when these symbols are meditated upon, they begin to stir the latent energy of the third eye. Vedic ritual, when properly understood, is not external worship but internal awakening. अभी यहीं ख़त्म करते हैं फिर। हाँ, कल या बाद में यहीं से स्टार्ट करेंगे। लेट्स सी व्हाट डू वी गेट आउट ऑफ इट। सो आई बिलीव कुछ तो सीखने को मिला होगा। थोड़ा बड़ा कर दी इसको। तो कुछ तो सीखने को मिला होगा ना बेडू। डोंट माइंड माई क्लोथ्स। मैं घर पे बैठा हूँ यार, तो क्या ही अच्छा सज धज के बैठूँ मैं। दैट्स क्रेजी। बुक पढ़ने से मतलब है हमने पढ़े कुछ पढ़ा हमने, ज़्यादा ज़्यादा तो नहीं है। इसमें कितने पेजेस हैं टोटल? 55 पेजेस हम पार कर चुके हैं। 332 पेजेस और मतलब 332 पेजेस की बुक है ये माइंड में करना। ये हैवंट शेप्ड प्रॉपरली, सो दैट्स इस वजह से है वो। तो अभी अपन बंद करते हैं इसको, हम अपलोड कर देंगे यूट्यूब पे द सेम बुक। दैट्स क्रेजी। सो हम ऑडियो बुक सीरीज़ इसी तरीके से स्टार्ट करना चाहेंगे, है ना। ये ठीक रहेगा। जब मैं पढ़ रहा था अभी, तुम भी पढ़ सकते हो इसको, है ना। तुम भी पढ़ सकते हो, तुम्हें पढ़ना हो तो और भी कुछ कर सकते हो, इसमें कट भी कर सकते हो। सो आई थिंक आई कीप डूइंग दिस वन। ये ज़्यादा सही है इन टर्म्स ऑफ बुक रीडिंग। स्क्रीन रिकॉर्ड और ये कैमरे के साथ और क्या चाहिए भाई। सो लेट्स सी।